So this next section is whatever happened to the benefit of the doubt. And if there are those of you out there that don't know what the phrase benefit of the doubt means, let me give you an example. If two people are racing towards an objective and somehow the judge for the competition isn't Johnny's on the spot and on that line, two players cross the line at the same time, but one says, I think he won and I lost. Well, the person who is being given that accolade has a choice. He can say, yeah, actually I did win. Definitely, I was ahead. I won. Or he could give the other person the benefit of the doubt and say, well, we got here pretty much at the same time, and there wasn't a judge, so why don't we call it a tie? Now, in our world today, everything's about who wins. The majority of sports enthusiasts would say there's no second place. There's no second place winner. There's only the first loser, right? That's the connotation. But when we do that, when we destroy benefit of the doubt, we do many, many things that are harmful. And we have done this across the board. And this is where I'm going to get to the edge of being political instead of just a fun gaming guy. Although I would argue that this is fun for me to be able to talk about this because this is a subject that's very important to me. We should grant other people the benefit of the doubt in all cases. And I'm going to give you a very broad example. Somebody says to me, I think X. And that X is something that would be harmful to me. If I take offense to that comment, then I am not exerting the benefit of the doubt, because there is the possibility that the person who's speaking is either uninformed, undereducated, or intentionally, willfully wrong. Those are all possibilities. When a thing happens in the criminal world, a criminal breaks the law, and somebody arrests them for breaking that law, then that person has built in automatically, by our culture, by our nation going all the way back, benefit of the doubt. I can prove it. You ever heard of the concept of innocent until proven guilty? Our system says that person you're accusing may not be guilty. That person may not have committed the crime, and you have to therefore prove that they conclusively did that beyond a shadow of what? Beyond the shadow of reasonable doubt. Yes, you can say, well, beyond a whacked out nonsense, chaos theory, nonsense answer, sure. But when it comes to reasonable doubt, if you do not prove the case to a reasonable doubt, then you have not proven the case. And if you have not proven the case, guess what? The benefit of the doubt goes to the person accused. This is absolutely essential, not only to the way we operate business-wise and culturally, but it's also part of our legal system. And we as individuals need to find ways to exhibit the benefit of the doubt. How do we hold ourselves above that and say, well, no, that person meant to do that. Well, that person definitely broke the law, even though I can't prove it, or even though I haven't proven it, they're already guilty. Now, there is something we're dealing with in our world today called cancel culture. And this rant right here, this conversation might be one of them. I might be getting myself canceled in a way because I am saying, let's stop. Let's stop assuming the opinion or the intention of another person. We need to give them the benefit of the doubt and let them convey to us their position. And if their position cannot be upheld without a reason, with a reasonable doubt, then maybe there's something wrong with their position. All I'm asking is what happened to it. When I was growing up, you were I was in the military, and sometimes you didn't complete your task on time, and you had to deal with the ramifications of that. And if you could validate or prove that you'd done the best of your ability, they would grant it. And if you couldn't prove that you were wrong, you still would have to face, you would still get to face a justice system. You would have a methodology that would give you the benefit of the doubt and require the system to give that to you. Now, I have to say, I have friends in the professional business. I know there are lawyers out there that just slapped their forehead and said, "What the H are you talking about? Our judicial system is not without bias." And I'm not going to talk about that, because that itself is an accusation that needs to be supported by evidence. But in general, the concept of the benefit of the doubt is intrinsic to our judicial system, part of who we are as a nation, and it really bothers me that we are throwing all of that under the bus in the name of accusations of intent when none has been proven to be established. So we need to be able to hold down and hold that position. Now, the benefit of the doubt is not an easy thing to give away. Again, speaking to my own specifics, after the loss of our daughter, I was at the time married, and we had 2 children at home until the death of Jera. And at the moment we lost our daughter, things became rocky between myself and my spouse. Now, things had always been rocky only because life is rocky. The world is not a fair place. It's not a just place. We only can hope for mercy in the cases where we make mistakes. So with that understanding, 4 years after our daughter passed, I discovered that my spouse had been having an affair. And that affair had gone on for a long time. And of course, when you are dealing with something of that magnitude, it's real easy to start pointing fingers and blaming the other person. In my case, benefit of the doubt actually fell to me, because I at first thought, well, it wasn't that long. And then I found out, no, it was. She validated it was long. Well, it wasn't that serious. Well, no, she was that serious with this other person. She had not been able to face counseling, but instead had chosen to confide in this other person, and therefore she had made bonds with that person to the detriment of our relationship, and so much goes into it. But the point is that at the point when the marriage officially ended, the benefit of the doubt had to be with both parties. She couldn't say that I broke up the marriage. I couldn't say that she broke up the marriage. We both had to say we had a part in it. Now, to whatever extent that actually is the truth, whether or not both of us held to that, it would be probably a case for the ages, and attorneys and theorists and philosophers and moralists could argue back and forth about that. But the concept here is that love for another, when it's faced with giving the other person the benefit of the doubt, is hard. It's really hard to give the benefit of the doubt, even when there is love involved. Now imagine if I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to someone that I perceive has wronged me in even a more egregious way. If we are dealing with somebody who has, to our eyes, seemed to have made an affront to all of our family, to everyone we know, that's a powerful position to have to take the position of benefit of the doubt to. But I'm telling you, for the love of the people that you do care for, if to the people that you work with and the people that you engage with on an everyday basis, you owe it, we all owe it to other human beings to offer the benefit of the doubt. Is it possible that the mistake is a mistake? Is it possible that the person's position is only misdiagnosed and not intentionally evil? Is it possible? Now, there are things called courts, and there are ways to actually prove, again, beyond a reasonable doubt, of someone's guilt of a crime by the evidence presented. And when that happens, we have to therefore adhere to what the law says. But that means sometimes the law, to our minds, gets it wrong. But then we have to give the benefit of the doubt to the legal system. Maybe it has a problem and we need to fix that. And if those are the things that happen, then we've got an even larger conversation. But nonetheless, we can't. Please, we cannot stop giving others the benefit of the doubt. And I'm just asking you to consider that in all topics. And like I said, this is not where I wanted to go, but I did need to speak this way, because when you look at a game, here we go, back around, full circle. When you are playing a game with other players, and the play out of the game clearly lists them as the winner, and you as the loser, you have to, while you can accept the concept of the benefit of the doubt as the winner, and you say, yeah, you played a good game, that was a hot fight one. I just recently saw a video where two wrestlers had wrestled to completion, and the judges had given the victor to one of the wrestlers, and the other one, instead of shaking his hand, shrugging it off and moving on, actually clocked his competitor in the face. And that video's out there. You can go and look at it. There's also one where a young basketball player whose team had been defeated misunderstood a interaction with a competitive player, and instead of shaking hands and walking away and saying, oh, that's a, it was a hard fought battle, but we lost, attacked the other team member. And that's just not right. And that is an example of, we are losing this battle with the benefit of the doubt, and we've got to learn to use it judiciously, but we need to use it mercifully in all cases, including when we're playing a game. And if I get beat in another game of canasta, I'm just going to have to shake hands and say, let's play another one. All right.